Scarface, 1920, a game that lets you live the life of a gangster during the Roaring '20s. A game that marries worker placement and deck building mechanics that will immerse you into the seedy criminal underworld of Chicago during the height of Prohibition. You have to build your criminal empire by recruiting new associates, brokering new deals, filling the streets with your thugs, enhancing your gang's headquarters, and doing some dirty jobs along the way. But be careful because you will face fierce competition from other gangs and the tireless pursuit of Elliot Ness and his feds. Do you have what it takes to become the most notorious crime lord in all of Chicago? Well, come on back after a break for a full overview of the game of Scarface 1920. Hey everybody, welcome to the show Board Game Reviews. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to our wonderful board game and tabletop gaming hobby. And this video is just going to be a quick overview of exactly what is Scarface 1920. Now, Scarface 1920 is a board game for 1 to 4 players. It combines area control and deck building mechanics in a wonderful combination to create this game where you get to be one of the famous thugs of history, one of the famous crime lords such as Capone or some of the other crime lords, in your bid to take over all of Chicago during the era of Prohibition. The objective? Oh, the objective is to become the most wealthiest crime lord in all of Chicago. Players are going to be competing to sell alcohol, sell guns, and try to bribe the feds while they try to do their seediest work in the underbellies of 1920 Chicago, where their eventual goal, like I said, is to become the wealthiest at the end. Whether it's through the money they possess, through the deal that they manage to broker, through various different cards they may be playing, or just businesses they may own at the end of the game. That's how we're going to work competitively to become the wealthiest crime lord in all of Chicago. Scarface 1920 combines various different gameplay mechanics that we may have seen before, but it combines them in a very unique way. This game takes the concept of deck building, where you're going to have your deck of cards where it's going to give you the resources, where those resources are the muscle you need to do various activities, or the influence to influence the people all across Chicago. These are going to give you the resources, but it's also going to give you skills and various different special abilities that you're going to use to do various different things, such as sending your thugs in the underworld, where you may be able to recruit, get jobs, get dealers, go ahead and sell in neighborhoods, and even maybe hire the associates. And these associates are also going to go in your hand, giving you extra abilities. Well, it may just add to your muscle and your influence, or special different abilities that they may provide to your hand and to your growing criminal empire. Additionally, players also be playing across this board, which is an additional kind of area control mechanic, because players can also get resources from controlling the various neighborhoods all across Chicago. Players must avoid the police and also avoid rival gangs who do their best to go ahead and try to take away your hard work, while you're just trying to build up your neighborhoods with extra businesses, extra resources, just trying to sell your alcohol, trying to sell your guns in an effort to go ahead and get the most profit at the end of the game. The big overall arching way the game is going to be played, though, is through the card play, which is to give you your resources to do the things, and also by using your various different resources of sending all your thugs to the various different locations all across Chicago, which is going to give you the different abilities I've already mentioned, including going to the underworld, but additionally also going to the authorities who are going to give you the ability to remove control markers. Control markers are the control markers that allow the other players to keep control of all the neighborhoods. Additionally, you can use it to reduce your crime rate, because your crime rate is going to be very, very important. Because the famous federal Elliot Ness himself is doing his best to shut down all 4 of the gangs in the city of Chicago before they run rampant and destroy the city. So the players must try to stay ahead of him, because his track is constantly going to be going up when raids occur. But also you must keep your crime rate low enough that you are not going to suffer the effects of all these raids. Because raids are going to occur, and based on just how far you manage to go down on the crime rate track is going to influence how badly these raids are going to affect you. If you're really high up on this rate, you're also going to suffer a lot of effects, but if you have to be a little bit lower on the track, maybe the effects won't be quite that bad on you. But the big challenge is Elliot Ness is constantly advancing, and your crime rate can never be lower than his current status, which means that as the game goes on, as the crime rate goes on, it gets much, much harder to avoid the notice of the feds. Now, the game has an interesting built-in timer, because the timer is actually based on how the players are playing the game, which is a really interesting mechanic about the game. because the game basically has two different phases. On your turn, you're either going to take an action turn or you're going to take a reorganization turn. If you have at least one card in your hand, you must go ahead and take an action turn among all the various different 15 different actions that are available in the game. But if you have no cards in your hand and no cards in your draw pile, you must take a reorganization turn. And when you take a reorganization turn, various different things are going to happen, such as the ability to sell off resources, gain some money, and some various different things are going to happen that allow you to get your thugs back onto your headquarters so you can use them for various different actions on following turns. But the most important thing is that this time track is going to continue to go down every single time a reorganization turn happens. Whether it happens to be you or another player, so in a higher player count games, these reorganization turns are going to occur much more often. If this track ever gets to the extra phase, we're going to flip over one of the extra cards. These extra cards are going to add various different effects to the game that are going to be permanent as these cards come out. The eventual goal, though, is eventually the final one of these new cards will be revealed. That's going to say Prohibition has ended at last. Once this card is revealed, that is going to be the end of the game. All the players are going to add up their total amount of money they have secretly hidden behind their shield. Plus, you're going to get extra resources based on a couple different extra things. Whoever has the most amount of money is going to be the grandest crime lord in all of Chicago during Scarface 1920. Now, this has just been a very quick overview of exactly how the game of Scarface 1920 operates. I haven't even covered the jobs, which give you special powers, creating a game where it's much more asymmetric, not only adding the fact that every one of these different gangs also has their very own special asymmetric powers, and your gang is actually going to grow in power as you play the game, allowing you to get different extra special abilities. So not only do you have asymmetric gangs that all play differently with their own unique powers, which are unique to them, there's also going to be job cards, which also allow you to get instants and also permanent powers if you complete these jobs, which are going to change the abilities and the powers of your gang. Additionally, you're going to work on getting deals that are going to allow you to get the alcohol and the guns you need to get your money to go ahead and gain all that money. And don't forget all the associates you're going to make deals with, which are going to increase the power of your hand. This is just a quick overview of the game. If you want to actually learn how to play the game, see a gameplay video, or get my full review of the game, check out the other videos in the series. This is just a complete overview of the game itself. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this video series. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down in the YouTube comments down below. I will do my best to get those questions as quickly as I can. You also feel free to email me off the shelf board game reviews. That is ots@bgr@gmail.com. I definitely do my best to answer those emails as quick as I can. If you enjoy the content I put out there, think about supporting the channel on Patreon. Just $1 in the tip jar is a phenomenal way to say thank you. This channel is 100% sponsor free. I don't have the luxury of sponsorships. So the good news is I'm not beholden to anybody to give my biased opinions. I actually can give out my honest opinions, but this also means that this channel is 100% paid for out of my own pocketbook. Toss $1 in the tip jar is a phenomenal way to say thank you. Not only that, if you don't want to toss $1 in the tip jar, just clicking a like and subscribe buttons down below is another great way to say thanks. It can help those YouTube analytics to make sure that more people catch the channel and so they enjoy the content I put out there. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.